Psalm 21, revealing the first writer's formats, and I am revealing the hidden formats that these first writers wrote in, and and I'm showing how easy the text can be corrected as well. So the last one we had, Jesus came out very clear in the last one. This one here is Psalm 21. When we look at it, let's start working on it. Why is your strength? No, here we go. Our King. This is Jesus. Need this. Need this. Jesus, will give him a little respect there and make it a capital letter for the King in white and red. We'll be glad in your salvation. And his meaning our Creator's salvation. Salvation. In salvation, he will rejoice. But that means it's a 3-verse. Correct? Maybe we have our first 3-verse. You have given him his heart's desire, and you have not withheld the request from his lips. For you do meet him with blessings of good things. You set a crown of fine gold on his head. He asks life of you. Well, you didst. Whoops. Wrong here with the cursor. You did give it to him. You did give to him. Did give it to him. Like the days, forever and ever. His glory is through your salvation. Splendor and majesty you placed him. For you do not make you made him the most blessed forever. You make him joyful with gladness in your presence. For our King trusts in YHVH, and through his love kindness, through his love kindness. For King to our King trustworthy. And through his love kindness. You don't need the words Most High here, but it would be our highest. This would be Jesus being our highest because he is going to heaven to be king. So I'll put it here, I guess. Is our, but now that makes it a 4 verse. As our highest, you want to, okay, as our highest. That would mean they would be knowing that he's the highest king. He will not be shaken. His hands, your hand will find out all his enemies. Your right hand will find out all those who hate him. You will make him as a fiery oven. I don't know about that. In time of your anger, why we will swallow them up. Oh boy, this is almost like what was it? 19, where smoke comes out of our creator's nose and fire comes out of his mouth. Their offspring destroy on earth, and their descendants. Well, I could have used help on that the other day. I got to replace it with a TS here. Well, from among the sons of men. Though they intend evil against you, I devise a plot. They will not succeed. Well, that's kind of separate. You will make them turn their back to you. Turn their back. You will aim your bowstrings at their faces. You will exalt YV in your strength. And and yours will sing. This would be Jesus, and yours sing. Sing with praises of your power. I don't know, this one's kind of, this could be his power, our creator's power for saving him. Now we'll see here. In your strength, YV, in your strength, Oops. In your strength, our King will be glad, and in your salvation he will rejoice. I guess I better put the word your back there. Slow down, I do catch my own errors, so just in case. Forgot the light. Oh, I forgot to put me back into this. Are you seeing me edit? Okay. I guess I should do this and do this. And now you can see me. So how far did I go? 10 minutes? No, I'm gonna just continue, even though that was a big error on my end. Maybe it even worked better without me seeing you. Didn't have to pay attention or didn't distract you with my face here. And in your salvation he will rejoice. You have given him his heart's desire. We didn't need to see the yawn either, hey? Okay. Given him his heart's desire, you will have not withheld the request. Not withheld a request. Not withheld one request. From I'm going to put the word from him. And just here like this. You length of days and forever and ever, then forever and ever. But the soul never dies, so that forever and ever really is wrong text. That doesn't belong. You gave him length of days. You gave him. Now this is them thinking of what's going to happen to Jesus, and they don't know he's going to suffer. So I can see them saying, he asked life from you, but he asked long life. I would say is and you gave him many days. I don't know if that's the right word I would use right now, but that's just, I'm looking for because he granted him the kingdom for forever and ever. Our king will be glad, and in your salvation he will rejoice. You have given him his heart's desire, and you have not withheld a request from him. For you met him, you gave him your blessings. You didn't meet him, you gave him. That is just, this is the correct word. Our Creator didn't meet him, he actually sent him, correct? He sent Jesus. So we can't have our Creator meet him, for you gave him your blessing. Give your blessings. Don't need this. I tried to hook it to the next, I can't see that. That's it. He asked. Asked for long life from you. You gave him many days. His glory is great throughout. His glory is great by your salvation, not throughout, by that way and that way. To speak of our Creator, His glory, and so His glory, yes, His glory is great. His glory is great by your salvation. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, because I ran into the word salvation here, and it's up here. So to get this verse to connect, this verse has to come out. YV, in your strength, or by your strength, I guess. Speak more truthful here. By your strength our King will be glad. You have given him his heart's desire. Yeah, I don't need this word. You've not abandoned a request from him. You have not withheld a request from him, for you gave him your blessing and set a crown of fine gold on his head. I need a word like this to start with. For You gave him your blessing. I would say I could get rid of, and you set a crown of glory on his head, or a crown on his head. He asked for long life from you, and you gave him many, many years, not days. So how's that? To get that corrected, that's length. And you gave him many years. His glory is great by your salvation, splendor, and majesty. You placed on him. I think it's just going to be two verse. I'm just reading ahead and reading backwards, and I'm seeing these are all just two verse. These aren't. I think this is new, because most of them have been 4 verse, I believe. I can't recall of. You make him your most blessed forever. Make him your most blessed. And yeah, because what I'm looking for here, but these are Jesus in here, but I would maybe try to show you that the words are for Jesus, but they're dust, or they come from our Creator, and this is what I would do. Well, I would do something like this, I believe, for the text. And that's how because the words are speaking about Jesus, but they're also by our Creator, given to him. And if this is a 2 verse, trying to find that verse, 2 verse here. You make him joyful. I would have to add some text here. You make him joyful, for his gladness is to be in your presence. To be in your presence. You make him joyful, and his gladness is to be. How do you think? Think that's pretty good? You can make your comments below and If I see them, I hope to comment to them. And through your love kindness, as and through this would be Jesus's hand here, right? Thinking this is Jesus' hand. But 26 minutes. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to see, just divide up into 4 verse, make sure I got, or these 2 verses. Your hand, his hand will find out, his hands will find, not it. He will find, yeah, I think it would just be, he will, I don't think his hand has anything to do with this, but he will find out all his enemies. He will know about, I'm trying to think, he will find, he will be aware of all of the enemies. And he will, guess I'm seeing this here to here, and then this down. He will find out those who hate him. No, this is not true. This is just make them a fiery. Oh, then yeah, right. Boy, it seems like the guy that wrote 19 was editing this text too. This never happened, but it's a wish that they would want. The time of his anger. The time of his anger. The time of his anger. Trying to think how that should be. I'm trying to match thoughts and try to hold to how this person would be thinking. Heart's desire, crown on his head, long life, his great glory, splendor and majesty, joyful and gladness in your presence, our King, trust and YV, I didn't trust YV, that should be just gone. he will find out all his enemies. He'll find out those and find. And I guess I could put and here because we now know that it's rhythmed or tied two verses together. So it would be and find out. See, I want to put the word about in both of those verses. And in his time, and in his time of anger. And in his time of anger, I had to skip down here to, because I started seeing two verses hooked together and wanted to see how far it went. Their devised plot. Their devised plot will not succeed. And yours will sing with praise of your power. Now, because it almost sounded like this became a 4-verse here. In the time of anger, YV will swallow them up by his anger. Or by his wrath. Does that sound right? Why they will kill them? Why they will reject them? I think would be reject would be better, because that way we know this is what they're hoping for. This is not reject them in his wrath. Why over time of anger, and in his time of anger, why they will reject that. It's like this is really not needed at all. I mean, this is not, this can be done like this, because when I'm reading this, I can go right down here and find out those who hate him. Find out those enemies. Find out those who hate him. But why they will reject them in his wrath. I think that's because the other words start kind of leaning to because these words here are definitely not something that's there in the time of your anger. Yeah, but that's, no, it's this here. When he finds out, because he will not be shaken as our highest, he will not be shaken. When he finds out about his enemies, let me put the word when. Whoops, if I highlight the whole thing, it gets it all. Okay, when he finds out about his enemies. I like the word about here. I don't like this word all. This is just not reading. When he finds out about his enemies and finds, oh, if I just copy that, then when he finds out about and when he finds out about those who hate him, YV will reject them in his wrath. There we go. For they intended evil against you. Okay, now. Now, does he get angry about his, I'm thinking that if I use this verse, that makes it 2, and it does sound, because when he finds out about his enemies and finds out about those, he will have a time for his anger. This one has to be, or YV will make them turn their backs. Or YV will make them turn away. Turn their backs to you so you can aim their bows and springs at their face? No. See, that doesn't make sense. But this doesn't. And then for YV will make them turn away. For you to be exalted. for you to be exalted by YHVH. Trying to read that again in my head. And for YHVH will make them turn away, for you to be exalted by YHVH. And yours will sing with praise of your power. Okay, but I still got this verse hanging out there all by itself. It's almost like these don't belong there because they're changing the subject. Do not be shaken by those who hate him, because he's going to find out about his enemies. For YHVH will reject them in his wrath. I'm saying that doesn't need to be there. It just doesn't, it doesn't really, I'm trying to connect, what I'm trying to think here is that there is a verse missing here, okay? That's what I'm thinking. I guess I should have maybe said that to you or let you know what's going on, but I'm seeing something like that is missing. And then, though they intended evil against you, say, he's going to reject him in his wrath, for they had challenged you or challenged our king with hate or something like that, though they intended evil, but although they intended evil against you. Their devised plot will not succeed. Let's see, that's almost, but no, we already know that YHVH's going to reject them. So it's almost like if I got YHVH will reject them in his wrath, for they intended evil against you. And then get rid of this verse and get rid of that line. And then say the text looks like that. Let's take a look at it and get this cleaned up. I'm thinking, I think that's the intent of the verse or the words, because this just seems to be extra. What do you think, Eric? Can you put all that in your head and read it? You think everything that you're seeing is okay? I'm thinking that I didn't really change everything. I just tried to make it about Jesus, I guess, as the first writer would be thinking of him out of a time that they don't know of the other prophecies that'll start happening about, because Isaiah, at the very end of the kingdom of Judah, he is telling them that Jesus is going to suffer, and so this text has not to, can't have that knowledge in it yet. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Is that what I'm trying to think of how the writer, what he knows at his time of this writing. Boy, sure did take a lot out. But I don't see, I'm going through a lot of this, and I know like that right there, that's down below. So what you're seeing me remove, some of it is in the text. So it's not as bad as you think as being all just taken out, because we know lips don't need to be there to be said. But all these are two verse. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit harder when I got too much space. I'm thinking they're double space, even though that just trying to, they're 6 space. Okay. I can just make them 8, they'll seem like they're together. Okay. Can you read that as one? Let me see here. If I do this, -6. Oh, that didn't really change. I've got them as, let's see, special there, that's manual line break. There, that did a few. I don't know, it's put a manual line break back in. Yeah, there's a, okay. No, it still needs to be smaller. I don't know if you can read that. Would you be able to read that? I think if you took a snapshot of it, you'd be happy to be able to look that over and say, okay, that's pretty good as a start. It's not finished yet. I know, oops. See, I got a double spacing here. I don't have all the colors for Jesus in there as red, but the object is I think I would call that good enough to start with and go from there. And yeah, that's a 2-verse format, which might be the first. I know I made other ones 2-verse, but I don't see these being able to be grouped up together and bunched up together more like you've seen in the previous videos. That's it right there. And it's time to go on to another psalm.